Hey there, everybody. My name is Mr. Young, and I am the art teacher at Normandy Crossing Elementary School. I hope you are all excited today for our art activity. We're going to learn and create our own collage artworks. You might ask, what is a collage? How am I supposed to make a collage? All right, well, now that you have those questions in your head, I'm going to go ahead and explain to you what exactly is a collage. So, a collage is a work of art made by gluing pieces of different materials to a flat surface. So, what do we see in these two images right here? We see an image of a student who is cutting pieces of paper. You're preparing those materials, those smaller paper shapes that you will be then gluing onto a bigger sheet of paper, and you're pasting it down or you're gluing it down. So that's going to create our collage artwork. It is a combination of different materials you're cutting and gluing down together. All right, so now that we understand a little bit about what a collage is, we're going to jump right into a fun story about a famous French artist, and his name is Henri Matisse. And the story book that we're going to read today is called Henri's Scissors, and it is written by Jeanette Winter. Okay, let's get started with our story. Again, the title is Henri's Scissors, and this read aloud is with the permission with Simon and Schuster. Matisse got as close as one can get to heaven with a pair of scissors. Romer Bearden. In a small weaving town in France, a young boy named Henri-Émile Benoit Matisse watched his mother paint china. He wanted to paint too. He drew pictures in the sand, and he drew pictures in his schoolbooks. When Henri was a young man, he drew pictures in his law books and on contracts, deeds, and wills. Henri was sick in bed with appendicitis one winter. His mother gave him a box of paints, and he painted until he was well. He kept on painting, forgot about law, and he left his small town to be an artist in Paris. Henri painted pictures day after day and year after year. He was happy, and his paintings made people happy. But when Matisse was an old man, he fell ill. So ill, he couldn't paint. So ill, he couldn't sit up. So ill, he could only lie in bed and sleep. His paintings floated by in his dreams. Matisse finally opened his eyes, and they were filled with sadness. Now he must remain in bed or use a wheelchair. Would he ever have the energy to paint again? When Matisse was strong enough to travel, he went to the seaside. The sea air might help him get well. Before long, he sat up. A little later, he drew. Then one day, Matisse picked up a pair of scissors and cut out shapes from painted paper. He was drawing with scissors. A pair of scissors is a wonderful instrument. Matisse cut paper all day. My pleasure in cutting things out grows even greater. Why didn't I think of it earlier? His assistants painted paper for him all day. It seems to me that I am in a second life. Paper cutouts covered his walls. One evening, Matisse lay in bed and drew the faces of his grandchildren on the ceiling with a piece of chalk tied to a long pole. He fell asleep. They looked down on him and saw his dreams. They saw the shapes that surrounded him in sleep. As time went on, Matisse cut bigger and bigger shapes. They filled his seaside room with color. You see, as I am obliged to remain often in bed, I have made a little garden all around me where I can walk. There are leaves, fruits, a bird. I am deeply contented, happy. Then one night Matisse walked out into his paper garden, and the rainbow of shapes cradled the old artist and carried him into the heavens. Are some of the stars we see at night coming to us from Henri's scissors? Perhaps. Though produced by a very old man who was mortally ill, the cutouts seemed to come from the springtime of the world. John Russell. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. I know I certainly did. We're going to learn a little bit more about Henri Matisse. Here I provided a couple photos so you can see how he looked like when he was an old man. So here is a photograph. And then over here on the right, here's another photograph when he was in his wheelchair. And as you can see, he's holding a piece of paper and scissors, and he's cutting out all his shapes from all these really colorful pieces of paper. And a little bit more information about Henri Matisse. He was a famous and influential artist during the early 20th century, and he's best known for his expressive use of colors in his paintings and paper cutouts, and he's also known for his Fauvist style. He was born in 1869 in France, and he was first popular for his Fauvist paintings. However, later in life, as we saw from our story, that he turned to creating artwork from scissors and cutting out pieces of paper and assembling them together, kind of like a collage. Here are some of his famous artworks that he produced by using those collage techniques. So we see three very vibrant, very bright, colorful artworks that he created by cutting out pieces of paper and putting them all together. So, how are we going to create our own collages? So, the first thing we need are supplies. Supplies include 2 sheets of white paper. So, if you could find 2 sheets of white paper, it can be copy paper or construction paper. Any kind of light color paper you can find. I need 2 sheets. And then the next material, the next supply we will need are colored markers. If you don't have markers, that is okay. If you have crayons or if you have paint or colored pencils, anything that you can color with is fine. The next supply that we will need is a glue stick. Now, if you only have liquid glue, that is okay. As long as you have glue, we are good to go. And the last supply we will need is a pair of scissors, just like Henri Matisse. So we're going to create our own collages with these 4 materials. Make sure you have 2 sheets of paper, colored markers, a glue stick, and scissors. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with the first step. The first step, we're going to use a black marker to divide your paper into 6 parts. So watch this video here, and I'm going to show you how you're going to divide your paper. We're going to make one line going all the way across on our white sheet of paper. And then we're going to have a line going up and down, making a big plus sign. But then we're going to make another one right over here. And that's going to make 6 parts total. So if you will count with me, we have 1 part, we have 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, 5 parts, and 6 parts. So we have 1 sheet of paper and 6 different parts. So make sure you have those 3 black lines making these lines right here. After you have those lines down, we're going to move on to our second step. And our second step, we're going to color each of those 6 parts a different color. So here is a quick video I want to show you of how you're going to color. So I just grabbed orange first, and I'm going to color that one in. Then the next color, I grabbed yellow and colored that one in really quickly. Next color I grabbed was the red, and I colored in with the red. And next color I grab is going to be the purple, and we're going to color in all of that square, this whole square with the purple. After that, we have the blue, coloring this whole square with the blue. And very last, I grabbed green, and we're going to color the last box green. All right, so make sure you color each of your boxes with a different color. After you're done with that, for our third step, we're going to use our scissors. Make sure you do have an adult. I want you to be safe while you're using your scissors. Please do not misbehave using your scissors. And we're going to use these scissors to cut along our black lines. So remember those first lines that we drew, we're going to go with the scissors and cut all the way across, so that way each of our squares are cut out. Okay, and by the end we have all of these cut out just like that. After you're done cutting out, we're going to fold the squares. I'm going to show you how to do that, and we're going to use scissors to cut out different shapes. Now there's different kinds of shapes you can make. If you want to make geometric shapes which have straight lines and sharp angles, you can make those geometric shapes. Or like Henri Matisse, you can make organic shapes. Organic shapes have curvy lines, they are rounded, and they are irregular, so they don't have the normal straight lines like the geometric shapes. They all have curved lines. So this is how I'm going to do it. If you want to see again how I did it, I'm going to go over here. I have this orange square. I'm not going to fold it. It's okay if we don't fold it perfectly. And then along the edge right here, we're going to use a scissors, and we're going to turn our paper around as we cut these curvy lines. If you need help, make sure you get an adult's help to help you cut these out. If you're not so good with the scissors, make sure you have an adult to help you, okay? And there, I cut out this irregular, this organic shape. So you're going to do that with each of your color squares. You're going to cut out a few different shapes. Hopefully you can get enough of these organic shapes. You can cut smaller ones or bigger shapes. It's all up to you how many shapes you want to cut. After that, what we're going to do is use our glue stick. So get your glue sticks out, and we're going to glue each of the cutout shapes. So all I have here is all of the shapes that I cut out. I'm going to move them aside. I'm going to have my clean sheet of paper now, and I'm going to have my glue stick out. I'm going to undo the top of it and make sure the glue is coming out of it. I'm twisting the bottom so the glue comes out at the top, and I'm going to flip my shapes over. I'm going to grab my shapes, flip it on over, glue the back of my shapes. I'm going to flip it again, and I'm going to push down so it stays put on my paper. So this is called pasting or gluing. Make sure you glue the back of your shapes, and then you're going to flip it over and push down so that way it glues down, it sticks onto the white paper. Okay, you're going to do that for the rest of your shapes. So by the end, you have a whole lot of shapes. Some shapes might be touching each other, might be going on top of other shapes. That is okay. You can put shapes all over your sheet of paper. Okay, and after that, what do we have? Now we are finished with our collage masterpieces. I hope you are excited and ready. All right, with all of that, thank you so much for tuning in and watching our lovely activity. I hope you enjoyed our story on Henri's scissors, and I hope you have a fantastic, fun time creating your own collages.